Some of the most intelligent, thoughtful, and self-aware people slowly begin to disappear from society. Not physically, but socially. They stop going out as often. They talk less in groups. They spend more time alone. And eventually, people start saying things like, "He became quiet. She changed. They're just antisocial." But what if something deeper is actually happening? What if intelligent people aren't disappearing because they dislike people, but because they start seeing the world differently? At first, it doesn't happen suddenly. It starts slowly. When you're younger, you enjoy social environments like everyone else. You laugh easily. You talk about simple things. You don't think too much about conversations. But over time, something changes. You begin to notice patterns in people. You notice how many conversations are repetitive. You notice how often people pretend to agree just to avoid conflict. You notice how much energy it takes to maintain shallow relationships. And suddenly, social interaction begins to feel exhausting. Not because you hate people, but because you start craving something deeper. Most social interactions operate on a surface level. Small talk, polite smiles, safe topics, weather, work, weekend plans. But for someone who thinks deeply, this begins to feel empty. You want conversations that explore ideas, conversations about meaning, about life, about fears, about dreams. But those conversations are rare. So something interesting begins to happen. You start choosing solitude, not because you're lonely, but because it feels more authentic. When you're alone, you can think freely. You can explore ideas without interruption. You can be yourself without performing. And that freedom becomes addictive. But there is a hidden downside to this. The more time you spend in your own mind, the harder it becomes to return to ordinary social environments. It's like watching the same movie over and over again. You already know the dialogue. You already know the ending. Many intelligent people also develop something psychologists call social fatigue. It's not physical tiredness. It's mental exhaustion from constantly analyzing everything. Every conversation, every reaction, every hidden emotion in the room. While others are simply talking, you're observing everything. You notice the tension between two people. You notice when someone is pretending to laugh. You notice when someone says something they don't truly believe. Your brain doesn't switch off. And over time, this level of awareness becomes overwhelming. So the easiest solution seems simple. Withdraw. Stay in environments where your mind can rest. Stay away from social noise. But here's the paradox. The same awareness that pushes intelligent people away from society is also what makes them capable of deep connection. They understand emotions. They understand complexity. They understand people. But because they see so much beneath the surface, they struggle to find others who communicate at that level. And when people can't find others who understand them, they often choose isolation instead. But isolation slowly creates a dangerous illusion. It begins to feel like the world simply lacks depth, like meaningful people don't exist. But that's not actually true. The truth is much simpler. Depth is rare, but it exists. There are people who crave meaningful conversations, people who hate small talk just as much as you do, people who think deeply about life, purpose, and identity. But finding them takes time, and something else, patience. Many intelligent people make one crucial mistake. They expect depth from everyone, but the world doesn't work that way. Different people connect in different ways. Some connect through humor, some through experiences, some through emotions, and some through ideas. But when intelligent people reject every shallow interaction immediately, they sometimes miss the path that leads to deeper ones. Because even the deepest conversations usually start with something simple, a random topic, a casual moment, a question that slowly opens the door to something meaningful. And the truth is, some of the most meaningful connections in life begin in the most ordinary ways. A conversation that was supposed to last 2 minutes suddenly becomes 2 hours. A person you didn't expect to understand you suddenly does. A stranger becomes someone important in your life. But those moments only happen when you stay open to the possibility. Intelligence can sometimes create invisible walls, walls built from skepticism, from analysis, from past disappointments. And there is something else that many people don't talk about. When you spend a long time alone, you start building a world inside your mind, a world where everything makes sense, where your thoughts are clear, where people behave logically. But the real world is messy. People are emotional. People are unpredictable. People make mistakes. And when you get used to the quiet order of your inner world, returning to reality can feel frustrating. But that chaos is also where life actually happens. The laughter you didn't expect, the conversation that changes your perspective, the person who understands you in a way you didn't think was possible. Those moments can never happen inside your mind. They only exist out there, in the imperfect, unpredictable world. But connection requires something intelligence often resists: uncertainty. You never know when you meet someone if they will matter in your life. You never know which conversation will stay with you for years. And that's part of what makes human connection powerful. It's unpredictable. So if you ever feel like you're slowly disappearing from society, it doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It might simply mean you see the world differently. You notice things others overlook. You search for depth where others accept simplicity. And that can feel lonely sometimes. But remember something important. The world is full of people living on the surface, but it's also full of people quietly searching for depth, just like you. They may not be everywhere, but they exist. And when people like that finally meet, conversations feel effortless, silence feels comfortable, and understanding happens naturally. So maybe intelligent people aren't disappearing from society after all. Maybe they're just searching for the rare places where they finally feel understood. And when they find those places, they don't disappear. They finally feel like they belong.